What is up, ONECast? Welcome back. Today we are wrapping up our relationship goals series, and I'm here once again with the same people that I started this thing with, KJ, Lloyd, and Asa Sison. And today we are going to be doing a Q&A. On Instagram, we asked you guys to send us some questions that you have about relationships, so we're going to be answering them today. And let's just get right into it. Our first question is, how do you revamp yourself for a new relationship or become ready?
I think it just really comes down to evaluating yourself and seeing what kind of scars left behind by the relationship or what kind of baggage you still claim, and then being able to address those and go to God with those problems. And once you've been able to address those, and once you explicitly know what that relationship left behind in you, you can start to build up from that and maybe build yourself up stronger enough so that you can join into another relationship.
Mm-hmm. I really think it's all about self-reflection in the sense that where your priorities lie, especially in your walk with your faith in Christ. That should be your first and foremost, motivation and direction and purpose. And once you're able to figure that out, the more and more you are able to stand on your own 2 feet with the trust with the Lord. And I think only until then, when you are able to walk on your own, only until then you can adapt and have someone walk with you next to you.
I definitely agree. There definitely has to be a lot of self-reflection in that. My next question: how do you communicate when your spouse is in a rough season?
Ooh, I don't have experience with it, but
I guess this could apply to boyfriend and girlfriend too.
Right. I think it just comes down to trying your best to understand them and finding a difference between comfort and correction, where a lot of times we want someone to listen to us and we want someone to just hear our problems and be for us when we need them. And other times we do need correction. We need people to solve our problems, but those are 2 very different things, and we need to be able to analyze our significant other or spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend, that we need to realize that they're going through something, and whether they want correction in that or whether they just want someone to be there for them, you have to be there for them through that all.
I think it's all about vulnerability and being okay to invest yourself in that vulnerability, because again, it's incredibly difficult to be vulnerable, and especially being in a relationship, vulnerability is a necessity. I don't think you can be in a healthy relationship that's going to last for long term without vulnerability and without that transparency. And so being able to communicate that, I feel trying to find the way to do that, I think it's definitely a process in where you have to learn to let your own guard down for the sake of you getting help. I've had a lot of friends, and I've definitely been in my fair share of relationships where the other person was not emotionally available for themselves, and therefore they weren't able to be emotionally available for me. And so trying to help that, it's hard to do, but at the same time, it has to be a boundary between being able to, you can't fix them, but at the same time, being able to support them. It's not supposed to be something that you need to save them or be a hero for them, but it's something that you just have to learn to accommodate based on who they are as a person and their personality and all their quirks.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of patience. I don't have any patience at all, but I've gone through that where you've been in a relationship and your significant other is having, a rough season, and the best thing you can do is just be really patient with that person, but also understand and figure out how you can try to help them, and also listen, because on my end, I was just like, what is wrong with you? Why are you not
talking to the solution?
Yeah, I was like, why are you not talking to me? But I guess if I had to redo it again, I would be a little bit more patient and just realize that when you're in a relationship, you're not always sharing everything. You're fighting your own battles. So definitely being patient, I think. Is courting still a good thing?
100%.
Yes.
I think so, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's very valuable to be able to not take advantage of, but still realize that there are differences between men and women, and that we need to respect those, and we need to go to the Bible with how men should respect women and women should respect men. And I think that courting is still alive and it should still be, because it's not a bad thing, and I don't think it should be looked down upon.
I think courting is incredibly empathetic, because when you're going into something new like that, you're coming in with the intentions of a lot of self-evaluation, whether you are ready to invest into that person. And because of the respect you have for that other person, you are taking a step back and you are acknowledging that this is something that I can't just step into immediately. This isn't something that, if I'm not fully able to commit to it just yet, I'm not going to commit to it. And I think courtship is something that's so underrated because it's all about self-evaluation, and it's not selfish. Courtship is all about the best interest for both of you, not just you, the other person. Because if you're into someone, of course you're going to value who they are and your relationship with them. And so if you're going to put that any further, of course you want to respect them in the best way possible. And I feel like courtship is such a good way to do that.
I agree with both of you. How do you handle those times when you feel the relationship becoming dry? I can answer this.
Go for it, Rachel, go.
I definitely think, like I said before, it's all about patience and vulnerability. I think when you think things are starting to become dry, the best thing you can do is communicate, and like more than ever, like this is where communication comes into play. Because if you're not upfront and you're not saying, hey, like I think things are a little, iffy right now, and maybe your partner is like, I don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy, or something like that. But I think this is where you have to really communicate and be upfront because your feelings are completely valid. So that's what I would say.
Right. I think it's healthy to remember that it's not the end of the relationship.
Yeah.
And that communication shouldn't be like, it shouldn't immediately go to, I think the relationship's over, or I think that it's not meant to be. Because if you think that you're gonna marry someone and every single year of your life is going to be filled with passion and love, then that's not what it's going to be like.
I agree with that. Not every single day is going to be rainbows and flowers and unicorns. You're going to have like those rough seasons. It's the way you communicate and deal with it that's going to help you get through it. Asa?
I definitely have been in that kind of situation. But again, I think communication is one of the most, if not the most essential thing to a relationship, and just being transparent. Like everything that you guys said basically summed it up, but by being able to be transparent, you are able to acknowledge not only the things that are wrong in the relationship, but also how we can fix it. Because we cannot expect people, especially this is something that I had to learn, we cannot expect people to read our minds. Like nothing is going to get better unless you do something about it. You can't just pray for a miracle to happen. You have to put into action what you want for this relationship and where you want this to go. And especially for me, if I'm invested in someone, I'm going to fight for them. I'm going to do everything I can just to maintain it. And so if that means being confrontational, which is like, again, really difficult for me to do, that's something that I feel as if it's worth. Because I love and care and I cherish that person so much that even in the dry seasons, I can acknowledge where we go from there and how we can improve.
And I think that communication comes with maturity, because I think a lot of people, if they go into a relationship immature and the second that they don't see it thriving or they don't see it being like sunshine and rainbows, they're just gonna be like, this is not it, it's over.
Yeah.
But once you're able to have this hard conversation to be like, hey, I'm not feeling it today. That doesn't mean I don't love you, that doesn't mean like it's over, but I'm just not feeling it today. And the other person to be able to react to that in a not hostile way, that's how you know your relationship's really mature.
That's good. That's good. What does being a good friend mean? Oh, I can think of something. You know how Carly, she always says a good friend is when someone tells you that you have like a booger like in your nose. That's a very good example.
That's a good example, yeah. And it just comes down to honesty and communication.
Yes.
When you're able to create like strong relationships with people where it's not in a romantic way, but you're just like, you're good friends and you're able to like show the honesty between them. Even if it's that example, or if it's just like telling them where like they're going wrong or you see they're making the wrong decisions, like that honesty is where you see true friendship. I mean, true friendship isn't just seeing each other and having small talk every once in a while. If you're able to be honest and vulnerable with them, that's how you know you have a true friend.
Yes, that's good.
I think the biggest blessing in my life is the fact that I've never had to worry about not having friends. I literally throughout my whole life, I've had such good people in my life, like KJ and Rachael, especially some of them. But it's just the fact that over the years, I learned what healthy relationships meant. Like not even romantically, but literally just platonically, I was able to learn what it means to be in a healthy relationship. And I like, not only am I so grateful for that, but I think it's so important because it taught me what it means to be, again, I say this a lot, but transparent, in the sense that it's really hard in this kind of culture to be who you really are without getting, you know, a lot of crap for it. But I think when someone is a good friend, I think they are honest with you, especially like just like what Carly says. But I love the phrase where it's like a good friend is like a breath of fresh air. And I think any person that's not only helping you feel good and giving you the love that you deserve, but also they are helping you by keeping you accountable and keeping everything real with you, and they're pointing out, you know, the things that you should improve on because they love you that much, because they want the best for you. And if that best means keeping you accountable for something that you know isn't right, that is a good friend. Like honesty is so overlooked now because everyone is all about, and like I will admit sometimes it's me too, everything is like people pleasing. And you want to cater to like all these kinds of different groups because now it's usually quantity over quality of people. But over the years, especially as my friend group has grown like smaller and smaller, and my circle has grown smaller, I learned that the quality is so much more important in honesty and transparency, because I would not be who I am without my friends. And I don't think any romantic relationship would have ever taught me that.
And going back to what you said, like right at the very beginning, where you were blessed with always having friends, like there's some people that like aren't always in a place where they feel like they have a lot of friends, and that's where, I mean, I've experienced it where a lot of loneliness comes in. But what I learned over time and what brought me to a place where I was ready to have these great relationships with people in a friendship in a friendly way is realizing that it's better to be in the right direction alone than the wrong direction with people. Because I would force myself into friendships that were people that were taking me in the wrong direction. And so once I realized that it's so much better to focus on God and keep going in the right direction and be by myself, that's when God started to bring to me people that would also bring me in the right direction.
That's the
really
best
good.
blessing ever.
Also, just remember, your friends aren't supposed to make you feel bad about yourselves. It shouldn't feel like a competition. So I just wanted to put that out there.
They keep you in line.
Are some people longing for singleness? Is it in their plan?
That's a good one. I think that, of course, we all like desire relationships, and we can you're good. We can like have these good friendships, and then I mean I hope everybody has a few friendships they can count on. But I mean I have no idea what God's plan is for each individual person. But we keep saying that we need to focus on yourself and eventually find the right person. But for some people, I think that, I mean, if God's plan for you is to be single, then that's what it is. And I think it might sound harsh at first, but there's joy in that. And we've talked about the benefits of singleness in the last podcast. And if it's your plan to be single at one time or for your whole life, then that's just the plan that God has for you. And as long as you just keep focusing on Him and what His plan is for you and finding your place in His kingdom, then I don't think there's a lot of grief that comes from another person not being part of that.
Personally, I think that there are people who want to be in relationships, but they also know that it's not their time. And I think God's timing is everything. If He wanted you to be in a relationship, I think that you would be in a relationship. But being single, it's not bad at all. And I think a lot of people look at all these couples on like Snapchat? Sorry, Snapchat and Instagram, Facebook, maybe, I don't know. And they're just like, man, I really want that. It's nice to want that, but you also have to realize that God has a plan for each and all of us. And sometimes it's being in a relationship, it's not in His plan. So,
I think it just depends on the person longing for singleness, because I know some people, especially in my life, they love being alone and they love being independent. And I think that's something that's so rare, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's so strong. And I think that's really cool that they don't feel the need for another person to be an addition in their life because they're already so filled up on their own. And again, like it's not in God's plan for everyone to be in a relationship, and that's something that, like, you know, a little bit frightening to think about. But at the same time, this is God's plan ultimately. Like He is the creator of the universe, and I know, and I'm so glad I can put in that faith and that trust in the sense that I don't have to worry about my plan because it's all for Him. And I know that this is the best direction that I'm going in.
because we can't speak for God and say like what your plan is or what
Yeah.
our plan, His plan is for us.
Thank
but
you.
we can speak on what His Word tells us, and that's to take joy in His plan, no matter if it's getting married when you're young or getting married when you're old or not marrying at all. Like we have to take joy in knowing that His plan is better than anything that we could even imagine for us.
Something else I wanted to add is don't let that like loneliness from being single allow you to lower your standards.
Right.
I
yeah.
think we
Yeah.
can all speak on this. Don't let it happen. It's not. It doesn't end well for anyone. Did you guys want to touch on?
Yeah. I think I said this before, but keep your standards high, but have no expectations.
Right.
Because standards are boundaries,
Yes.
Those are things that are requirements for you. And for what, everyone has different standards and everything, but if they cannot respect you with the bare minimum of your relationship, how do you expect to have anything else follow through? Like, how do you expect that to last any longer if they cannot do the basic necessities for you? If they cannot cater to that, they cannot cater to you lifetime. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It goes past manners, okay?
Yeah.
Past holding the door open for you or whatever else. But thank you guys for being here for the second time. I'm so happy that we're ending this series, but I'm also really sad because I feel like this has been really, really good. But I already know our next series is going to be absolute fire, so definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for being here once again, and thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.